Hey guys, welcome to Zelda Dungeon. This is Zelda Discussion. I am your host Bastion, and what this video series is I pose a question to you guys at the end of the previous week's video, and you leave comments, and I read your comments and comment on your comments, and then we start the whole thing from scratch for the next week. So let's get on to this topic, which was things about, if I remember right, since there are so many different remakes of Zelda that's been coming out over the past few years, what Zelda game do you think is poised next to be remade, and why? You know, what kind of aspects that would be changed would make it good for a remake? And so let's start out with B-Dog Haggerty, who says, I would love to see Four Swords as a remake, because they haven't had a true family multiplayer experience for a while. As far as Zelda goes, certainly, they, of course, had Super Mario 3D World, which was an awesome multiplayer experience. We haven't had a Four Swords game since the GameCube. Yeah, there was not one for the Wii. Doesn't look like there will probably be one for the Wii U. I'd be very surprised if there was, but it would certainly be awesome. I don't know if a remake of Four Swords Adventures itself would be a good idea, but a new entry in the Four Swords series would be pretty awesome, and definitely very useful, I would think, for the Wii U, because one person could have the gamepad, and that would affect different kinds of things, and then, you know, the other people would have the Wiimotes. That'd be pretty cool. So, yeah, it seems like it would be a great idea. Evan Barr says, a fan-made Ocarina of Time 2D got me thinking, what if Nintendo remade one of the 2D Zeldas in a 3D style? I think Minish Cap, with its whole shrinking mechanic, would look awesome as a 3D Zelda. Technically, this would be a brand new game in its own right, as it would be in 3D third-person perspective and have a totally different gameplay, but it would still have the same plot, overworld, and dungeons. I mean, I don't think it could have the same dungeons, though, because transitioning a dungeon style from 2D to 3D is, you'd have to change up a lot to make that make any kind of sense. Tool0GT92 says, it would be awesome if they remade Zelda 2 The Adventures of Link. Keep it 2D, but adjust the difficulty. I played that game in the 80s, and still to this day I am terrible at it. Games back in the NES era were notoriously difficult. That is true. Zelda 2 is definitely the most challenging game of all time, for me at least, or at least the only one I'm willing to play. The most challenging Zelda game. And I have to say that it would be amazing if, and this is my personal favorite, is the idea of a 3D remake of Zelda 2. This isn't what this person was describing. They were kind of talking about like a prettier, maybe hand-animated version of 2D that's still side-scrolling of Zelda 2. But what I'm saying is it would be awesome to recreate Zelda 2's overworld, which is that huge, massive land north of Death Mountain. We've never seen that land again. It allows you to sort of retrack the Zelda 1 land, which we have seen sort of reappear in. This is debatable, but it's strongly theorized that that land in Zelda 1 is the same land in A Link to the Past, and so on and so forth. But then there's this huge amount of land north of Death Mountain that has only ever appeared in Zelda 2 The Adventure of Link, and it would be so cool to be able to explore that land again, but in 3D. That would be amazing. So maybe not a remake necessarily of Zelda 2 The Adventure of Link, although that would be fantastic and I'd totally play that, but just another game set in that particular land north of Death Mountain. Mewtwo 150 Clone says, it may be difficult since there are two, but I would like to see the Oracle games. There were points in seasons I didn't know where or what to do, so I think they could make it a little more direct. It was also a pretty open world, which I know they have been targeting recently. I love items and puzzles, such as the magnet gloves, and game's original idea of connecting games would be easier with the Wi-Fi of today. Yeah, linking those two games together would be awesome. I would almost think that it would be cool to have them all in one game, but I'm pretty sure Nintendo, if they were going to remake Oracle games, they would do it for the 3DS, and they would make it two separate games, but that they just link with your save data in some kind of way or something, that you wouldn't actually have to type in codes to get the various connections. So that would be cool. I would totally be open to playing a remake of those for the 3DS. Kebla Brago says, I think Link's Awakening will get a remake one day. First, I thought A Link to the Past, then I remembered A Link Between Worlds. The reason I think I want Link's Awakening to get remade is that it was so good and outside of the Zelda universe. The things that will change would probably be a graphical update, tighter controls, better sound. It would be awesome. I could totally see... if I were Nintendo, I would utilize A Link Between Worlds game engine and graphics and use that to create Link's Awakening. I used to think that it would be a good idea for them to just plop out A Link to the Past using A Link Between Worlds graphic style and game engine, but probably not. What would be an even better idea is to utilize that stuff to do a remake of Link's Awakening. That would be amazing. But unfortunately, I can't see Nintendo doing that. The Piano Gamer says, hello, Bastion. I think that Twilight Princess would be the one to be remade for the 3DS. One reason for this is that the graphics could make it so much better and newer. It'd be rather interesting if they could brighten it up and give it an HD feel instead of squinting at the screen. My second reason is that the time period you described would be perfect. They could make a few more games, and in 2016 they could remake Twilight Princess for the 3DS, if the 3DS is still the newest DS. My reasoning for this is that the 10th anniversary of Twilight Princess made in 2006. Personally, Twilight Princess is my favorite Zelda game. So that's an also very interesting tactic is, you know, when would this theorized Zelda remake come out? And yeah, it'd probably be 2016. That would be 10 years after Twilight Princess. I couldn't necessarily see Nintendo doing an HD remake of Twilight Princess for the Wii U, but I could totally see them doing a remake of Twilight Princess, or possibly just a port, with some things changed for the 3DS. That would be awesome, especially if the 3D effects was enabled for it. That'd be so cool. Anyways, that's it for this episode. Next week's topic is, it has been theorized that Zelda Wii U is a remake of the original Legend of Zelda, or that at least it takes place in the same landscape as the original Legend of Zelda, or as a retelling of the original Legend of Zelda. For those not familiar with why this has been theorized, the basic shape of the land and the placements of the various things like the forest. There's a giant forest that's down in the southwest, and then the way the ocean sort of creates a very angular square shape on the southeast and towards the north. It's just a very similar shape. What do you think about this? Would you be okay with Zelda Wii U being a remake of the original Legend of Zelda? And what kinds of things do you think they would change to make it feel fresh and interesting? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and I'll read your comments and comment on your comments. See you guys next week. Bye.